Okay, so this is a translation and a discussion of the Aeneid, Book 11, lines 581 through 594, the last installment that we have from the Book 11 material discussing Camilla, that warrior who is currently being discussed by Diana, talking to Opus and lamenting the fact that when the battle and war commences, she unfortunately will perish. And so therefore, we continue on about how awesome Camilla is. Multi-matres. Many mothers desired, wanted, opted, chose that gal, referring to, obviously, Camilla, and that gal as a daughter-in-law. And so therefore, that's what a nurum is, from nurus, a fourth declension feminine word. And they desired that gal as a daughter-in-law in vain, throughout, or just through, the Tyrrhenian towns. Oppidum, oppidi is town. She, meaning obviously Camilla, the subject of Colet, content with Diana alone, she cultivates, she cherishes, and she, unviolated, virginal, she cultivates an eternal love of weapons and of maidenhood, virginity. She doesn't care about anything other than weapons and fighting and hunting, and then obviously remaining unmarried and chaste as a virgin. Now, starting at 584, we have the word wellem. And remember that there are four major ways by which a subjunctive, and this is obviously a subjunctive because it is nothing more than the infinitive, the present active infinitive, wole, wele, with an M ending. And so, since it is an independent use of the subjunctive, it is not asking a question, therefore not deliberative, not should as a question. It does not have the word utinam, therefore not volative, optative, impossible, wish, not a translation would that. It is either going to be the jussive / optative subjunctive, let the subject verb, or the potential subjunctive. Most of the time, when it's a jussive or jussive hortatory, I meant to say hortatory, not optative. When it is a jussive hortatory subjunctive, it's a present subjunctive. And when it is imperfect, it is the potential. And so therefore, we would use the word would or might in our translation, and that's what we have here. I would potentially want. And then what we have is a missing ut, because it is introducing then what we know of as the ut substantive noun clause, in which the whole of the ut clause, as expressed with a subjunctive verb, and there you have again, everything to the left, infinitive, and then the ending stuck on there, making a pluperfect subjunctive in this one, is a pluperfect subjunctive, because usually to make the perfect infinitive, all you would do is take the perfect passive participle and you would pair it with the essa, to which you would obviously add the ending. But here what we've done is that we've actually paired the perfect passive participle with the perfect infinitive of sum essa. And so therefore that's why I'm saying that this form right here, having added the ending, is the pluperfect. That doesn't really exist, but it's just really being pluperfect. Now, the word howled is a really strong noun, meaning not at all. And so, this whole clause functions essentially like the direct object of what it is that I would want, reducing the whole clause to that of a direct object noun. Hence why we call it a substantive noun clause. We are giving substance to it. Remember that when you turn an adjective into a noun, implying the nouns with that adjective, you are substantizing it. It becomes a substantive. And so therefore, potentially I would want that she, as our subject, not at all, had been seized, had been grabbed by such military interest, by such military things, by such military focus, if you would like. She, having tried, conor, conari, conatusum, a perfect passive looking participle from that deponent verb, to provoke the Teucrians, i.e. the Trojans. She, we continue on, cara mihi, dear to me. And now, and here we are with another potential subjunctive with foret. Remember that the word foret is the equivalency of futurus or futurum esse. And when you put an ending on futurum esse, you're making kind of like an imperfect subjunctive, and so it is that we have that there. So, dear to me, she would potentially be. And she potentially would be, again, one of my companions. And the reason why it is potential, because the reality is, the indicative of this is that she is going to perish in the war. And so that is what, of course, is making Diana so sad in talking, obviously, to Opus. Truly, age, the command, drive on. Since indeed, quando quidem, she is compelled, she is urged, she is forced by sharp fates. Labere. Now, this is a deponent verb, which, of course, is labor, labi, lapsus, sum. And so remember, for a deponent verb, it's present singular imperative. Present imperative, talking to one person, looks like a present active infinitive, and then if it existed, because for a deponent verb, that infinitive form does not exist. And so therefore, you will translate it simply verb glide, O nymph, in the vocative. And remember, this is Opus that Diana is talking to from the pole, from the heaven, obviously the sky, and look upon, and again, to make a regular imperative, not a deponent one, all you're going to do is you're going to take the infinitive in viscere, and you're going to take off the re. So chopping off that re, we've made our imperative. And look upon the Latin borders, where the tristis pugna, both in the nominative, the sad fight passively, is commenced with, in your ablative, unfortunate omen. Omene, do not confuse it with omne, that word that means all. Instead, it is from omen, and then the genitive omenis. It means omen or portent, if you would like. And so, look upon the Latin borders, where the sad fight is commenced with unfortunate omen. Cape, hike, cape. Again, all we've done, capere, to take her to seize, and drop the re to make the present imperative. Seize these things, and these things are referring to the weapons that were described before, and deprome, another imperative, draw out from the quiver the avenging arrow. With this, referring to that arrow, the sagittam, with this, whosoever, and we're translating whoever, and then violarit is really violaverit. And so I'm going to understand it as a future perfect here, instead of a could be in the same form, a perfect subjunctive. And so, whoever will have violated her sacred body with a wound, be it implied, Trojan and or Italian, equally let him give the penalty, but it really is an idiom that means poenas dare, to pay the penalty. And so whoever will have violated her sacred body, let him pay the penalty equally with blood for me. Afterwards, ego feram, ego reponam. And so afterwards, I will bring, because of fermental at, a hollow cloud. So in a hollow cloud, I will bring the body of the one about to be pitied, of the one, really implied which, must be pitied, and I will bring her unspoiled weapons, unspoiled arms, and I will place her back to the fatherland, perhaps a dative with that verb reponam, in a mound, as in a funeral mound, as it were. And so it is describing the finality of her funeral and burial, and Diana obviously accepting this fate, but being really sad about it, and potentially seeking justice, as we saw here, on the person who is the one who obviously takes her life. So, keep on studying. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.